Hey folks, you can't criticize Nerdrotic. It's not allowed. Should you try to criticize Nerdrotic or any of his associates, you will quickly learn this fact, that it does not matter the words you use or the angle you take. Nerdrotic is above criticism. We've known this for some time, but it has once again become apparent in the wake of a devastating attack in the form of a short Twitter thread that says some mean things about Gary, I guess. Quickly, Nerdrotic's fans snapped to attention, ready to fight for his honor at a moment's notice, and in so doing, revealed some very interesting cognitive tricks they employ to make meaningful criticism impossible to levy. Let's look at a few of them. Trick number 1, the jealousy gambit. One of the most common tactics, and perhaps the most ironic, anyone who makes an effort to criticize the work of Nerdrotic & Co. can instantly be labeled jealous.
But oh, now that Gary has 1 million subscribers, suddenly Gary has to be hated because it's not about his opinions. That's not the problem. It's about the fact that too many people agree with his opinions, so therefore he's a problem. 90% of hate that goes on social media and YouTube is all due to jealousy. It's all because people are jealous.
You're mad that no longer everyone agrees with you about these dog shit movies, and you need somebody to blame.
You can't be critical of Gary's opinions. You must instead be jealous of his success. No specific reason is ever given for why this label is applied, because no reason ever could be given that would not instantly render these men the subject of endless mockery. These men whose entire success is predicated on outrage over people more successful than they. A Twitter user can be labeled envious for making a single tweet about Gary, meanwhile Gary is in the process of uploading his 19th video on Brie Larson, presumably because he's jealous of her numerous film roles and superior acting skills. Seriously, if you haven't seen her in Room, holy shit, go watch it now. Jeremy of Geeks and Gamers has uploaded 7 videos on Mr. Beast in the last month. A combined 87 minutes of his life, he's dedicated to criticizing a YouTuber 780 times his size. Let's see here, complaining about Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, sort of complaining about Dr. Disrespect, complaining about Mr. Beast, complaining about Mr. Beast, complaining about Mr. Beast. Let's see here, complaining about Gladiator, complaining about Acolyte, or The Acolyte, I don't know, whatever, complaining about The Acolyte, complaining about Mr. Beast, complaining about Dr. Disrespect, complaining about The Acolyte. 90% of the hate on the internet is because of jealousy. But, like, not us. But not me. Like, I'm not jealous. It's just you guys. You guys are jealous. I'm not jealous. And that was the thing that got me about the fucking Critical Drinker tweet, too, is that this man complains constantly about how writers are getting better work and how other writers that he doesn't like are seeing success in the film industry.
To understand how this film went wrong, I decided to find out a bit more about the people behind it. Like director Kate Shortland, who I looked up online and found fuck all. In the past 20 years, she's directed a grand total of 3 obscure low-budget movies that I've never heard of. Why the fuck is someone like this directing a $200 million action flick?
Not a great plan.
But what about the writing team, you may ask? Well, Jacqueline Schaefer did WandaVision, which kind of explains the very shaky morality here, and she's got an uncredited rewrite for Captain Marvel. Meanwhile, Eric Pearson co-wrote Thor Ragnarok with the help of 2 other people, and that's it.
You serious?
So basically this film was made by writers and directors with no meaningful accomplishments to their names.
Maybe there's a little hint of something there, but no, I'm not jealous. You're jealous, I'm not jealous.
I'm pretty sure that the Critical Drinker is jealous of all of these Hollywood writers that are more successful than him. He's jealous that nobody gives a shit about his writing and only cares about him for his outrage. If only there was something he could do to fix that.
Trick number 2, the beta male. Another weirdly common one, and perhaps the most ironic, anyone who criticizes people in this sphere can be labeled beta males by the man who takes so little pride in his work that he's used the exact same shitty reaction photo in his thumbnail in every single video for the last month. 59 videos, by the way. I'm sure the quality is fantastic. You're being called a beta by the men whose job is sitting in a gamer chair and yelling about cartoon characters.
Clearly you're upset because too many people disagree with you because you're hiding comments because you're a weak, pathetic beta male.
You're a YouTuber, Jeremy. You make YouTube videos from the comfort of your office. Your job is podcasting. Trick number 3, mental illness. A tactic repeated numerous times by Jeremy Griggs, and perhaps the most ironic, accusations of mental illness are an easy way to silence criticism while saying nothing of value and knowing zero facts about mental illness. According to Jeremy, having a part of speech he doesn't like in your bio and disliking a YouTuber he likes are both evidence that you are afflicted with a diagnosable condition.
This is a case of mental illness because the person that is talking about Gary has pronouns in bio. And as we all know, red flag there, pronouns in bio. Check. Hiding comments. Check. Hates Gary. Check. 100% makes sense.
In fact, he repeats this so often, I'm convinced he actually thinks he's onto something here.
These crazy fucks that have pronouns in their bio and they're mentally ill people are very triggered by Gary. You're either very jealous that Gary is getting more attention than you, or you're just mentally ill.
What he doesn't seem to realize is that his obsession with other people's mental health is a clear symptom of hyperactive oversensitivity disorder, or noxophoria, a condition that I just made up because apparently in anti-woke fantasy land, mental health disorders are not important medical diagnoses, they're epic dunks you can use to own the libs. With the added bonus that every time you accuse a random person of being mentally unwell for having pronouns, a psychologist jumps off a bridge. Yeah, it's not cool to be a moron. It's weird that Jeremy thinks that's cool, right? Trick number 4, the angry voice. This is a trick, perhaps the most ironic, I harp on fairly frequently. It goes something like this. Someone disagrees with me, let's read their words in a dumb voice.
Before I focus my attention solely on this garbage, let us first focus on the attention of the explanation and what it is, what he and his little grifter friends do, explained by one of them.
Before I focus on my attention solely on this garbage, let us first focus our attention on the explanation of what he is and his little grifter friends do, explained by one of them.
Not only is this a pathetic and dishonest argumentative tactic for these based alpha chads to be utilizing, it's really easy to turn back around on them. This is my audition for the role of Jeremy Griggs in the upcoming musical Ben Shapiro Superhero. 90% of the hate that goes on online. 90% of the hate that goes on online is due to jealousy. And usually it's people that have a massive ego or people who are mentally ill. I guess I just owned Jeremy in the free marketplace of ideas. Trick number 5, weaponized illiteracy. I have to say, this is one of my favorites and perhaps the most ironic. If you don't want to contend with a person's arguments, you can just pretend you don't know basic facts. This can go hand in hand with the jealousy gambit, such as when Jeremy suggests he doesn't understand why the more subscribers a YouTuber has, the more likely they are to be criticized, because I guess math is a foreign concept.
Why do they hate Gary? I don't know. They didn't hate Gary when he had 50,000 subscribers. They didn't hate Gary when he had 75,000. They didn't hate him when he had 100,000.
First of all, yes, people did. People have criticized him throughout his entire career, so far as I'm aware. Also, that's how math works, Jeremy. That's how numbers function. The more people who see you, the more people are going to have an opinion on you. Or it can come in the form of reading words out loud and then failing to comprehend their very simple meaning.
But clearly this person doesn't have any real friends. Real friends argue all the time.
Jeremy, he never said anything even approaching friends don't argue. In fact, the concept of disagreement between friends was not introduced in this tweet at all. You materialized those words out of thin air. In the future, I might recommend reading and understanding the tweet before responding to it instead of never. And before we close out, here's a really interesting bit of dissonance that I've noticed between Ryan Kinnell's coverage of this tweet thread and Jeremy Griggs. A while back, Jeremy said something pretty embarrassing on a podcast with his friends. I'll play it here.
Every video we make, we use one little thing and then we build the narrative out of it. Don't act like that's not what we do.
I don't build a narrative.
You are
give
an
my
absolute
opinion.
fucking.
You are
What we do. You've made the same fucking video on the same topic at least 7 times a week, Ryan. And you're going to act like we don't do that.
I talk about, yeah, I talk about
says one fucking thing and we make a whole video out of it. That's what we do. Welcome to every video we make.
Anyhow, basically he just admitted that his content is not enriching and that he builds narratives out of nothing for the purpose of making money. What a silly slip-up. Here's how Jeremy covers this topic.
So this is an argument that we had on Friday Night Tights. I don't even remember the specifics about what the argument was, But every time I say the same thing that I say in this video, these crazy fucks that have pronouns in their bio and they're mentally ill, or just people that are just jealous in general, they go, he finally admitted it, ladies and gentlemen. I've literally admitted it 1,000 times. Whatever it is you think I'm admitting, I've said this 1,000 times. YouTubers do things for views. It's wild. Oh, you're selling Kraft macaroni and cheese? Well, you better not order any more Kraft macaroni and cheese, because why would you give the paying customer or the person that is interested more of what they're asking for? Why would you do that? I know it's a crazy, crazy mindset. It really is.
Notice how he doubles down, arguing that what he said was both sincere and correct. Now, here's how Ryan covers it.
Ironically, this is a clip of Jeremy, who like went on this fucking rant because he didn't either wanted to talk about this or didn't want to talk about that or something. And he went on this fucking big rant on FNC. That's what we do. We talk about things. We talk about them over and over again. That's basically what he did. Jeremy kind of leaning into the meme that all these people were so upset about. And of course, people like him took it seriously.
Ryan seems to think that Jeremy was just memeing and that woke freaks took him seriously. And I just find it interesting that neither of them seem to agree on the contents of that clip. Was it 100% serious and we're stupid for thinking it's bad? Or was it a meme that we're stupid for thinking was serious? The world may never know. Thanks for watching. I wrote a book that should hopefully be available by the end of the year. You should like and subscribe, and maybe you'll be among the first to know when that happens. I'm bad at outros. Good night.